Like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, it's AMC Me, and I'm back with some more of the web novel Marry My Husband. And we just finished the last video with the conclusion of Suman's downfall and her getting her just desserts after thinking that nothing she ever does requires her to ever have to worry about any kind of repercussions. And it was definitely okay for her to kill her mother-in-law just because she bullied her. Minwon passed away. His mother-in-law passed away. Minwon's father got chewed out by Jiwon oh so elegantly and classily. What else happens? Oh, Hugh Yeon got hit by Sumin because she ran away from the funeral of Minwon and his mother when the police came to arrest her ass. And everybody at work now knows that Hugh Yeon is actually the granddaughter of the CEO of the company. So that's kind of what's a quick little update on the last video if you didn't catch it. If you do want to catch or listen to previous videos, I'll include a link to the playlist. If you just want to listen to me read, I heard it's pretty enjoyable to listen to while you're trying to get to sleep. But I will jump into the first video, or the first chapter of this video, and it's chapter 121, That Purse. Ji-hyuk did not even consider the fact that there was a possibility Jiwon might fail the interview. If she did, that could only mean two things. It either meant there were no new employees this year, or the company was going under. It was the day before Jiwon's first day. She was hired without a doubt, just as Ji-hyuk had expected. Ji-hyuk pretended Pang was Jiwon as he practiced greeting her. I hope we get along. Meow. That's way too short. I'm Ji-hyuk Yu, Department Head of Marketing Division 1. Nice to meet you. Meow. No, that makes it sound like I'm the newcomer. I heard you graduated from H University. Do you remember me by any chance? Meow. Obviously, she won't remember. I want us to work together for a long time, Miss Kang. Meow. That sounds a little menacing. Hey, Pang, what do you think I should say? Ji-hyuk lifted Pang with both hands, and their eyes met. Pang struggled for a moment, then sighed and started meowing seriously. Meow. 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 It felt like Pang was speaking just now, but that was something only possible in books. Ji-hyuk shook his head and put Pang back down. He kept practicing as he showered, as he lay in bed, and as he got ready to go to work the next day. But once Ji-hyuk came face to face with Jiwon, he realized how useless all his practice was, and he realized he was more foolish than he thought. He was so nervous that his head turned blank. He smelled the shampoo from Jiwon's hair as she stood next to him. His plan to greet her with a smile somehow went up in smoke, and he could barely say anything. This is Jiwon Kang, a new staff member joining us. You can use that empty desk over there, Miss Kang. Shit. This damn mouth of his was not working the way he wanted it to. At first, Ji-hyuk tried to smile every time he met Jiwon's eyes. He had no choice but to give up when she saw how Jiwon jumped in surprise when he looked at her. Lowering his head, he realized he was making a scarier face than usual. After a few days of wasting his efforts, it was the day of the company dinner. It was the first department get-together since Jiwon had joined. Ji-hyuk's small yet important goal was to use liquid courage in the rowdy mood in order to have a conversation with Jiwon. But perhaps even that was asking for too much. Minwon was already by Jiwon's side. The smooth-talking jerk spoke to her with no awkwardness. He drank with her, and he leaned his head to whisper in her ear. Ji-hyuk was so busy glaring at Minwon that he couldn't remember anything else that happened at that dinner. Out of the many things Ji-hyuk regretted that day was the one one thing he regretted the most. Instead of just staring at her from afar, I should have summoned up the courage to sit next to her. I should have cooked the meat myself and put the best pieces on Jiwon's plate. I should have tried to strike up a conversation using my social skills Hugh Yeon calls atrocious. He wondered if he could have stopped Jiwon from marrying Minwon and walking into hell. After that day, Jiwon and Minwon became lovers. The sunny smile she showed from time to time, her warm gaze, and her matching cell phone all belonged to Minwon now. At the time, Ji-hyuk accepted it. Jiwon had seemed happy, so he figured that instead of a man like him, who was not kind, funny, or thoughtful, that a guy like Minwon could make Jiwon happy for the rest of her life. Unaware of Ji-hyuk's feelings, Hugh Yeon begged him to buy her some new clothes for Jiwon and Minwon's wedding. Those two are the ones getting married. Why should I buy you clothes? At Ji-hyuk's question, Hugh Yeon spoke with confidence as if she were a loan shark asking for her money back. Your team members are getting married, and I'm part of that team. So? You're the head of that team. Yeah, and? As part of the staff, I can't show up to a coworker's wedding looking like shit. The department head should naturally take pity on the underpaid newbie and buy her some new clothes. Bullshit. If that's how it is, I have a plan of my own. Hugh Yeon put both her hands on her waist. Her face wore a serious look when her well-thought-out reasoning didn't work. You have a plan? Look here. Hugh Yeon lifted her hands from her waist and raised her index fingers to poke both sides of her cheeks. Can you please buy little Hugh Yeon some clothes, please? Come on, Oppa. Her actions were so baffling to watch. It was almost horrifying. Ji-hyuk felt goosebumps and his hands clenched into fists without realizing it. He could bet his entire fortune that if Hugh Yeon had been his brother instead of his sister, he would have punched her in the face. Shut up, he growled. Please, Oppa. I'll shut up if you do. I'll buy it, so shut up. I'm grateful, my lord. Hugh Yeon bowed at a 90-degree angle and pointed politely at the front door with her hands. Let us head out then. I shall escort you to the parking lot. Ji-hyuk armed himself with his credit card and headed to the department store with Hugh Yeon. She lingered around the luxury goods section on the first floor, but there was no way he was falling for that. Impulse purchases were very rare for Ji-hyuk. After all, he had been raised under Chairman Yu's strict rules about money. But then, there was a store in the best location in the luxury goods department. The window of the shop and the long line of people waiting caught Ji-hyuk's eyes. To be exact, a beige-colored purse next to the mannequin in the window caught his eyes. What? You gonna buy that for me, Oppa? Hugh Yeon caught his gaze, and she glued herself to Ji-hyuk with excessively sparkly eyes. Ji-hyuk frowned and shook his arm to get her off him. I was just looking, he muttered. Hugh Yeon pouted. I should have known. There's no way you would buy me something that expensive. Is it expensive? It's around 5 million won. That's expensive. The humbled old money siblings passed by the luxury goods department and went upstairs to the sales section to purchase some clothes. Ji-hyuk wanted to buy that 5 million won purse for Ji-won. The old big bag she always carried around was cute, but this purse was perfect for Ji-won with its soft, clean beige leather and thick quilted pattern. Hugh Yeon. Yes, my lord? Hugh Yeon answered politely, happy with her purchases. How would you feel if your boss suddenly bought you an expensive bag? Ji-hyuk asked. We're not even dating, and a boss buys me a bag? Yeah. Hugh Yeon's shoulders shuddered. Ugh. I would tell him to take the bag and get the hell out. Eating a 10-course meal for breakfast would be more comfortable than that. Ji-hyuk frowned. But you stuff your face as soon as you wake up. I'm just saying, Kyu-yeon crossed her arms. Anyway, I would hate it. Why do you ask? Just because. Hugh-yeon looked suspiciously at Ji-hyuk. Did she figure out I want to buy one for Ji-won? Ji-hyuk's pace, which was faster than the ordinary person's, had become even quicker. 5 million won. Hoping Ji-won would buy that bag, Ji-hyuk wrote his name on an envelope stuffed with bills and gave it to her as congratulatory money. Wearing a white wedding dress, Ji-won was the most beautiful bride Ji-hyuk had ever seen. He couldn't bring himself to go inside the bride's waiting room, so he stood outside in the hallway instead. Congratulations on the wedding. I hope you'll always be happy. In the end, he couldn't say the good wishes he had practiced all night. Do you, Minwon Park, take the bride Ji-won Kang to be your wife, to love her and honor her for as long as you both shall live? I do, Minwon answered in a loud voice. Next was Ji-won. Do you, Ji-won Kang, take the groom, Minwon Park, to be your husband, to love him and obey him for as long as you both shall live? Ji-won lowered her head and did not answer. The bride must be nervous, the host said, laughing off the situation. He asked the same question in a louder voice. Do you, Ji-won Kang, take the groom, Minwon Park, to be your husband, to love him and obey him for as long as you both shall live? Ji-won raised her head slowly and looked forward and looked around towards the guests. Just for a moment, it felt like they met each other's eyes. Ji-hyuk was frozen in place as he looked at Ji-won. As they made eye contact by mistake, Ji-won's gaze turned back to Minwon. Yes, I do. Ji-hyuk finally decided to quit his job. After pushing it back for so long, it was to bury his feelings for Ji-won once again. Damn. I was going to say Ji-hyuk wouldn't be the type. He wouldn't be the type, if they even had it at Korean weddings, to say, I object. And I feel like he wouldn't be the type to do that anyway, as much as he likes her. I mean, she had to die and him get a chance to be, both of them to be brought back to life and given a second chance for it to happen. And it almost didn't the second time. Okay. Jung-uk Kim, 42 years old and single. He used to be a manager at a big company, but he was demoted to an assistant manager. With the exception of all things modern people experienced, like obesity, hemorrhoids, cyanitis, tonsil stones, bad posture, and hair loss, he was very healthy. He was 5'6" and weighed 160 pounds. A man's heart was more important than his looks, and his skills were more important than his size. So he was part of the top 10% of men. And his top 10... Sorry, I couldn't even get past that sentence. Top 10% of men? Parbo? Okay, bro. His ego is out of control. Okay. And this top 10% man fell in love with someone. Pretty, innocent, lively, and modest. She was the ideal type of woman that Jung-uk had been waiting for all his life. When she had secretly winked over the partition, the great office had become a colorful fairy tale book. When she'd handed over a blue canned coffee with her small hand, Jung-uk had become a fairy tale prince. The princess was, of course, her, but she turned out to be a witch disguised as a princess. Jung-uk stiffly walked into the office, looking straight ahead. The few staff members who were gathered around chatting about something went quiet. They scattered quickly. Oh, I need to hand this to the PR team. I'm heading to the worksite. Let's see, today's meetings are... There was no one in Marketing Division 1 who didn't know how much Jung-uk used to torment Hugh-yeon when he was the manager. Even people in different departments on the same floor knew. No one could imagine that the new contract employee, who had remained bright and energetic despite all that nagging, was none other than Chairman Yu's precious granddaughter. Whew! Jong-uk sat and sighed deeply from the depths of his stomach. This sucks. How did I get involved with them? His work messenger, which was usually busy exchanging tasks, was quiet today. There was no email sent to him. At this rate, I might really lose my job. Jong-uk mindlessly clicked on the news online with his chin in his hand. Then he got up and went over to Ji-won's seat. Miss Kang? He ventured. Yes? Don't you have a lot to do? Anything I can help you with? I'm not sure right now. I'll check my work log and message you. Ji-won answered arrogantly to her superior, who had even been her manager at one point. Jong-uk wished he could yell at her at the top of his lungs like before, but unfortunately, she was very close friends with the chairman's granddaughter. Oh, got it, he stammered. Let me know if I can help with anything, okay? Sure. The conversation ended there. Jong-uk backed away slowly and went back to his seat. His heart dropped from time to time, worried that he was being called by the secretary every time an employee came through the door. Good morning. Someone entered the office with a bright voice. It was a woman. How's everyone been? I'm sorry I was gone for so long. If my desk is in the storage closet, could someone mind helping me bring it out here? Everyone welcomed the woman who came in confidently telling jokes. Their reaction was completely different from when Jong-uk had come back to work. You're looking better than ever, Miss Yang. We have a mountain of work to do. Your desk is still there, so let's get to work. How are you feeling? You all just said there was no work. You said you'd tell me and let me know if there was anything I could help with. Jong-uk glared daggers at Joran and the people around her. How can this company turn to crap like this? That worthless housewife was made a manager while a great guy like me has to remain a mere assistant manager? Shit! Jong-uk, who was simmering with anger in his own world, slammed the keyboard like he used to without realizing it. Immediately, everyone turned around and stared at him in surprise. Shit! There's still some mosquitoes around, he said hastily. All the staff members turned their gaze away. The clicking sound of footsteps approached and stopped in front of Jong-uk. He laughed awkwardly while attempting to blame the non-existent mosquitoes. Long time no see, assistant manager Jong-uk Kim. And that's the end of chapter 121. This dude's ego is crazy. And the fact he thinks he's even good at his job is even more bizarre. Let's see. Some comments. Top 10% of men. Right. Okay. I'm happy I'm not the only one that caught that. And then somebody else said, on the outside he's disgusting, but even on the inside he's disgusting. Creepy old guy. Beetlejuice would be the soundtrack to Jong-uk and Sumin's wedding. Oh, I guess for the original cover for the web novel, they had a picture of the beige bag. But that's the cover that they have for the web novel is the one I have for the thumbnail. He must be hurting badly seeing the woman he loves marrying another man. Parvo for model of the next issue of Men's Health. And then, oh, this is so true. He's just as delusional as Sumin. He really is. Okay. So we're going to go into chapter 122, The Desk You Use. Was it just him, or did she stress the words assistant manager? Jung-uk forced his rigid lips into an awkward smile. How have you been? He managed to ask. Oh, Joran frowned slightly. Haven't you heard? I've been promoted to manager. Oh, right. I forgot. Congratulations. Jung-uk thought about the looming payments to his car. The bumper was falling off and the crumpled driver's door was being repaired, and forced himself to congratulate her. Plus, just like Jiwon, Joran was a close friend of Hugh Yeon. If he made one wrong move, his desk, which was already practically hanging on the edge of a cliff, might fall into the depths of a storage room. Joran did not seem satisfied with his efforts. I didn't say that to hear you congratulate me, Assistant Manager Kim, she said firmly. I'm saying you need to respect my position now. I'm a manager now, so it'd be silly for you to speak casually to me, right? He knew everyone in the room was listening to their conversation. Jung-uk curled his plum-colored lips inward and bit down on with his teeth. I'd rather have them take my desk away. How can I grovel at Joran's feet and call her manager? There's no way in hell I'm doing that. No way. Assistant Manager Kim? Joran raised her voice a little as she called Jung-uk. His insides boiled up like a cauldron full of stew. If only he could yell at her to go home and cook for her husband. He'd throw these documents in her face for good measure, too. Then he'd feel so much better. Mr. Kim, are you listening? I am. What are you going to do about it, you hag? I am listening. Jung-uk buried his thoughts and spoke quietly. Let's step outside for a moment and talk. Do you want some coffee? Jung-uk asking Joran if she wanted coffee was a miracle in itself. Joran thought about it for a moment and turned to head inside the staff lounge. I don't need any coffee. What did you want to talk about? She asked briskly. Jung-uk put his hand down in his pockets awkwardly before he pressed the coffee machine button. Manager Yang. Jung-uk cleared his throat and pulled out a chair to offer it to Joran. This time, Joran did not refuse and sat down with her legs crossed. Crossing her legs in front of Jung-uk, it was something she had always wanted to do. Go ahead, she said. Jung-uk cleared his throat again. It's nothing serious. I just wanted to ask you to think about my perspective. And what is that exactly? Jung-uk smiled pathetically from across from her. I understand where you're coming from. Let's say my position was a little lower than yours right now. What do you mean, let's say? You are my subordinate now. Jung-uk's thick, short turtle-like neck turned red. When Joran had been an assistant manager, her heart had raced for whenever Jung-uk's neck turned red. She had always tried her best to please him because it signaled he would start shouting, cursing, or throwing documents at her, or worse, doing all three at once. Right, he stammered. I guess I am your subordinate. This time, Jung-uk was the one who had to suck up to her, Joran listening to Jung-uk's nonsense with joy. But I used to be your supervisor, he went on, and with the exception of rank, I've worked longer than you, and I'm older than you. Shouldn't we be careful considering what people might say? Joran raised her eyebrow. I don't think people will think too kindly of an assistant manager speaking so rudely to a manager. It's not just about rank, Jung-uk argued. When department head Yu was here, he would always speak to me formally. Mr. Yu used to speak formally to me too, even when I was an assistant manager, Joran replied. If age really is the problem, as you said, shouldn't you have spoken casually to Mr. Yu as well? How can you compare department head Yu and yourself? I don't see what the difference is, Joran said back incredulously. We're both above you in rank, and I'm older than Mr. Yu. What exactly is the difference? Jung-uk tried not to roll his eyes. Look, I know it can be difficult to understand since you're a woman. I understand that. Joran snorted. The joy she'd felt watching Jung-uk grovel was gone in an instant. I can't accept that, Mr. Kim. Jung-uk felt dazed at Joran's curt answer. When he came back to his senses, he sputtered, Mr. Kim? Did you just call me Mr. Kim? You keep calling me Miss Yang and speaking rudely to me. Why should I respect you and call you by your title? Joran tapped the leg of the chair using her feet. She wore the new loafers she had purchased at the department store as soon as she left the hospital. To Joran, the black glossy loafer, the black leather of the shoes was more beautiful than Cinderella's glass slippers. Remember what you always said, Mr. Kim? What does a woman know? She should stay home and watch the kids, or she should go home and cook for her husband. Then you'd hit on every new female employee and torment them when they refused your advances. You'd do it until they either quit or requested to change departments. Jung-uk's jaw dropped. What the hell are you saying? I was just teaching them the ropes as their superior, that's all. I think you're confused my educating them with something else, Miss Yang. When a newbie can't keep up, you just need a little strict education, my ass. Joran uncrossed her legs and stood up. Why don't you just mind your own business, Mr. Kim? Is there anything you're good for? All you know how to do is cuss, throw paper, and steal your subordinates' work. Steal ideas? I've never stolen anything, Jung-uk shouted. You were demoted to assistant manager because you tried to steal Hugh Yeon's idea. The only reason you were promoted to a manager was... In the past, Joran was unable to say anything about it, even when she cried and cried every night. She clenched her teeth and then spoke, emphasizing each word. You submitted my plan with your name on it. Jung-uk had already long forgotten the incident, but Joran never had for 1 minute. There was a saying that went, a guilty conscience needs no accuser, but that was only when the one in question had a conscience at all. That was forever ago. Why are you bringing that up now? Jung-uk fumed. Besides, if it weren't for me, that plan never would have been accepted. I edited that trash plan you submitted so it could actually be useful. That was my plan, and I thought of it myself. Stop spouting shit with that mouth of yours, Joran said, cutting him off abruptly. Jung-uk gasped again. Shit? Well, I guess that's the only thing you're good for. You'd know better than anyone. Jung-uk's face turned a sickly shade of purple, just like his lips. When will you stop being stubborn? Joran went on. You're saying you thought of that plan? How can anything come out of that empty head of yours? You can't even produce any hair from that head. Extremely shocked, Jung-uk raised his hand to cover his bald head. His neck was the color of a well-cooked, juicy German sausage. Was this woman in a mental hospital? How can someone become a completely different person like this? What did you just say? I'm not done, Mr. Kim. Joran gave the leg of Jung-uk's chair a good kick. Go inside right now and move your seat to the one next to Mr. Lee. That's manager's desk. Oh, that manager's desk is mine now. Damn. Getting divorced, kicking cancer's ass. Joran is a new woman. You know that song by Lisa, New Woman? That was Joran when she came into work. That was the song that played when Joran was chewing up Parbo's bitch ass. Dude. That was amazing. And that's when I told Parbo. Joran lowered her voice seriously, reenacting the situation. Go inside right now and move your seat to the one to Mr. Lee. That manager's desk is mine now. It was amazing. We were eavesdropping in front of the lounge and almost started dancing, Jiwon said, grinning. Hugh Yeon couldn't breathe as she cackled loudly like a caveman who'd just caught a mammoth. She's going to break her ribs again at this rate, Jiwon thought, worrying. She stopped Hugh Yeon. You should stop laughing so much. Your ribs aren't healed yet. My super duper strong bones can take it. She said, continuing to laugh. But just as Jiwon had feared, Hugh Yeon grabbed her broken ribs, struggling with the pain. She looked pitiful yet lively as she wiggled more than a freshly caught sea eel. Jiwon frowned and wiped the sweat off Hugh Yeon's forehead. I told you to stop laughing. I'm okay, Hugh Yeon groaned, barely able to answer. She managed to catch her breath. Why was I A single tear fell from Hugh Yeon's eyes. She was crying from laughing so hard. Why was I not there on such a momentous day? I'm so mad and upset. I don't think I can rest easy. Don't rest yet. It's time for dinner, Jiwon calmly reminded her. The sea eel came back to life. Oh, right, I have to eat my beef, Hugh Yeon said, clapping her hands together. Is beef on the menu today? I asked the nurse earlier. She was the daughter of a rich family who was happy as long as she could eat meat. Joran told Hugh Yeon curiously, I really had no idea who you were. You're so down to earth. Who would think you're the chairman's granddaughter? I'm not down to earth. I bought a coat for 340,000 won that I'm going to wear when I leave the hospital. Was it a splurge? Jiwon asked. It was originally 500,000 won. I couldn't even think of buying it with my salary, but it was on sale, so I thought I'd splurge. Hugh Yeon imagined the coat and sighed deeply. Anyway, what am I going to do about work? I really tried my best there. I had the chance to become a full-time employee in a couple of months. Hugh Yeon truly looked depressed. She had submitted her resume and interviewed just like all the other staff members. She was supposed to keep her secret to herself and work from the bottom all the way to the top. Then she'd earn the right to inherit the company. Things had gone south when she was an intern, so she couldn't help but feel depressed now. It's not your fault that everyone knows. I'm sure if you explain it to the chairman, he'll let this one slide, Jiwon said, trying to reassure her. Hugh Yeon weakly shook her head. Grandfather said it's okay and that I can keep working. Then what's the problem? Joran asked. Now all the staff members know, no matter how hard I work to become a full-time employee, there will be people that won't think I earned it. All promotions are decided by the UNK staff, so I might not be judged fairly. As Hugh Yeon explained her situation, the door to the hospital room opened. Excited, she raised her head, thinking it was the food, but her expression fell and became even more depressed when she saw Ji-hyuk enter. I don't even feel like talking to you, she mumbled. I never feel like talking to you in my entire life, Ji-hyuk retorted. Once again, Jiwon was amazed that the siblings never fought, despite being so mean to each other. You have a guess. Do something about that horrendous hair, Ji-hyuk added. Hugh Yeon snorted. What, is the president here or something? Don't tell me what to do. Ji-hyuk's expression remained unchanged. So, you're not going to brush your hair? I'm not. Can't be bothered. Come inside, Ji-hyuk said, turning back towards the hallway. Just then, a man holding a huge box came in, accompanied by a sweet aroma. Hugh Yeon immediately had tremendous regrets that she would have normally never had. I should have listened to that jerk. That's the end of chapter 122. I'm pretty sure it was Eunho. And sibling dynamics are so funny to me. I don't have any siblings, but they're so funny to me, like how they're so mean to each other, but nobody else can be mean to them. But they're so nice to each other. Like, he was mean as fuck. Like, I never want to talk to you, but bitch, brush your hair. Because I feel like he knows she likes Eunho, and he's like, brush your hair, bitch. Because you probably want to look good for us here. But she was just like, no, fuck you. And he's like, fine. Look stupid. But some of the top comments. Eunho, OMG, yes. I want them together. Laughing my ass off. You should have listened to your brother. It's definitely Eunho. Whoops. Hugh Yeon, go make yourself presentable. Eunho is here. Joran didn't snatch Parbo's wig. She snatched him. She straight up scalped him. She really did. In a way, Hugh Yeon's worries are justified. There are people who simply will never respect her because they think she had a leg up with her connections. And then there will be people like Parbo who will look down on her simply being a woman, not having the respect of people who know she deserve it, otherwise will make it harder for her. But this is Hugh Yeon we're talking about. She can do it. And then the last one. This was a good chapter. Nice to see how the decent side of the cast is doing in the aftermath of the accident. Joran took him to task like he deserved. He made himself useful before with capturing Suman, but that doesn't make up for all his past crappy behavior. And I like that Hugh Yeon is so worried about work and about how she'll be seen in the company now that the secret is out. And did Eunho come back into play? Oh, I wonder if he brought Hugh Yeon sweets. I shipped them too. Yes. Okay, this will be the last one for real. Oops, Joran told him head couldn't even produce hair. Ji-hyuk and Hugh Yeon, they're so cute. My brother and I have outgrown speaking to each other like that, but I remember these days. And hilarious. How she had wished she had brushed her hair for the guy who stepped in. Okay. And that is it for now. And I'll be back with chapter 123. Don't believe Hugh Yeon is being... I can't believe Hugh Yeon is being shy. Okay, and I'm back with chapter 123 of the web novel Marry My Husband. Can't believe Hugh Yeon is being shy. Eunho? Surprised, Ji-won stood up. The person she had least expected came inside the hospital room. Hugh Yeon took that moment to cover her head with her blanket. What are you doing here? Why are you with Ji-hyuk? Ji-won was taken aback. She felt uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. Who wouldn't feel that way if the man who had confessed his love to her at least 5 times was with her current lover? I met him at the shop and asked him to bring me along, Eunho had explained. I heard about Hugh Yeon's accident earlier. There was no reason for Ji-hyuk, who had quit his job, to visit the cafe in front of their office. Maybe he would go if Ji-won were there, but she had come to the hospital with Joran as soon as she got off work. You went to the cafe? Ji-won asked Ji-hyuk. My stuff is pretty good after all. Eunho smiled and showed them the box he had brought. It was where the sweet scent was coming from. I brought you the walnut pie you had last time, Hugh Yeon, and a strawberry tart, a carrot cake, and a paw of chocolate for you to snack on. Hugh Yeon swallowed under the blanket. How did he pick all of the things that I love most? I was craving the desserts from Blue Cafe. Hugh Yeon, are you sleeping? A gentle voice asked from outside the blanket. She raised her hand carefully to her head and despaired when she felt it. Not only was her hair disheveled, but it was glossy with oil. She had only been able to use dry shampoo while hospitalized. It almost felt like she could clump it together into snakes like Medusa or something. What should I do? Should I just stay like this? I should at least say hi since he came all this way. I don't want him to see me like this, though. Why did that damn brother of mine bring him over without any notice? Hugh Yeon? Her blanket was yanked away at the same time she heard that damn brother's voice she had just been cursing. It happened so suddenly she had no time to defend herself. Hugh Yeon wrapped both hands around her head and curled up. Give it back! Cover me back up! This is no way to treat your guest, Ji-hyuk scolded. If only her body was fine, then she wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened to her. Unfortunately, Hugh Yeon's body was not fine, hence why she was in the hospital. Suddenly, Eunho put his face in front of Hugh Yeon. She gave up on the blanket and curled up as much as possible. What's wrong? Do you still hurt, Hugh Yeon? He asked kindly. Go away, she shrieked. Should I put the tart away? No, I'm saying you need to go away. Eunho blinked. Me? Why? Get out! Hugh Yeon repeated. Confused, Ji-won watched the situation before her. Then she felt something odd. Why is Hugh Yeon so desperate to hide her face? It's as if she's embarrassed. It's not like she's a naturally shy person. Right now, Yu Yan looked very different from even just a few moments ago, when she'd been chattering away with her oily hair and unwashed face. Okay then, I'll leave. I'll bring the desserts when I come over next time. As Eunho turned away with the box, Yu Yan raised her head in surprise and said loudly, "Wait, you can't just leave like that." "Oh, now you're talking to me." Eunho gave a small smile and handed the box to Hugh-yeon. Her nose fluttered at the sweet and warm aroma. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "My body's a little achy, but I'm fine, thank you." Hugh-yeon mumbled with her head down as she quickly took the box of desserts. Eunho smiled and looked at Jiwon. "I'd better go now. I left the part-timer in charge." "You did? You should go now." "I'm going to head out now. Thank you for bringing me, Ji-hyuk. Oh, and I know it's a little late, but congratulations on your promotion, Miss Yang. I heard from Hugh-yeon." Joran thanked him for the unexpected congratulations by bowing her head. Eunho did the same. Then he tapped on the box that Hugh-yeon embraced like a treasure. "Enjoy, and I hope you get better soon. Then you can come back. I'll bake some German meat pies as a gift." "Meat? Pie?" Hugh-yeon looked up at Eunho like she was hypnotized. "Meat pie? Bread with meat in it?" Just hearing those words made her heart flutter. Plus, Eunho was another bonus. "I'll bake it right before you're done for the day. I'll take it out of the oven as soon as you come over." Oh my God. Hugh-yeon covered her mouth using one hand. When the hot pie was just out of the oven, the sweet bread and the savory, salty taste of the meat blended wonderfully. After chewing and swallowing the incredible flavors that spread in her mouth, a sip of a bitter, cool iced Americano would be so refreshing. And then another bite of the pie after that. "Eunho, I see a halo right behind you now." Ji-hyuk cut off Hugh-yeon's ecstatic muttering. "That's the ceiling light, you pig." Hugh-yeon glared at him. "You want this pig to kick you? Don't play with your food." "Well then, why don't you bite me?" In Jiwon's opinion, it was nearly impossible for Ji-hyuk to win against Hugh-yeon with words. It was more likely that Jiwon would die and come back to life 100 times over. "I should get going," Eunho said again. "Ji-hyuk and Miss Yang, you two should visit the shop once Hugh-yeon gets out of the hospital. You too, Jiwon." Ji-hyuk followed Eunho to the door. "Let's head out together. I have some place to be." "Okay then." What the heck? Since when did those two get close? Jiwon, Joran, and Hugh-yeon looked at the men's back as they left the hospital room. Once the door closed, they faced each other. "That's strange. I mean, they're both handsome, so it's nice to see them side by side," Joran said. Hugh-yeon and Jiwon started nodding enthusiastically. "I would have never imagined those two showing up together," Hugh-yeon said, opening the box and relishing in the dessert's aroma. Joran snatched the box away. "Not yet. Eat it after dinner." "Hey, that's not fair," Hugh-yeon whined. "No snacks before your meal," Joran said firmly. "Do you think hospital food is a joke? They're serving according to the nutrients you need. You're going to have leftovers if you eat bread first." As Hugh-yeon lost her precious desserts right in front of her eyes, she felt like the subject of a documentary. The only thread of hope amidst her despair was her dear lifesaver. "My lifesaver, if you wish to kill me, grant me the food tray," she said. If you wish to save me, grant me the tart, please." Even her trusty lifesaver wagged her index finger coldly. "I'm just an assistant manager. I have no power." "Just one piece, please." Hugh-yeon was fixated on having her snack now, while Joran was adamant that she had to wait until after dinner. A war between a lance and a shield was about to commence when the door opened once again. For Hugh-yeon, it was a visit from her ray of hope. "Grandfather!" Hugh-yeon shouted happily. Joran and Jiwon bounced up like a spring at the same time. "Hello, sir." "Nice to meet you, sir. I'm Joran Yang, manager of Marketing Division 1. Chairman Yu nodded in greeting and sat next to Hugh-yeon's bed. "How are you?" I'm fine, but you know, Grandpa, I want to eat that dessert over there. Please? I heard everything outside in the hallway. Miss Yang is right. Oh, I can't believe this. Even her grandfather was betraying her right after her lifesaver had. While Hu Yian was quiet for a moment, looking mournfully at the box and swallowing hard, Joran and Jiwan quickly exchanged looks. They stepped back. We should get going now. Have a lovely evening, Jiwan said. Wait, Chairman Yu said. Even though they'd done nothing wrong, Joran and Jiwan froze instantly. They nervously waited for Chairman Yu to speak again. Miss Yang, I understand you were an assistant manager until you got promoted recently. Joran was surprised that the chairman knew who she was, but she answered calmly, Yes, I recently received the opportunity after the success of the small packaged wellness products. I will work hard and do even better from now on. Ah, that was your project. I was impressed. A smile appeared on Chairman Yu's perceptive face. He looked like Ji-hyuk even when he smiled. Without thinking, Ji-won smiled along with him. Her face went stiff again when Chairman Yu's gaze turned to her. Hu Yian seemed restless, so thank you for visiting her at the hospital. That's all I wanted to say. You may go. Jiwan and Joran bowed politely and walked out. Left with only his granddaughter, Chairman Yu looked like a completely different person as he stroked Hu Yian's oily hair with a gentle expression on his face. I get why you like those two, he said. They're both good people. I knew you would like them, Grandpa. You're a great judge of character, after all. Hu Yian gave him a thumbs up. I wanted to tell you something funny that happened, she went on. You know, when I got in an accident, the owner of the car's name is Jo-young-uk Kim, but we call him Parbo. Excited, Yu Yian talked about how Joran was tormented for a long time until she got her revenge by rising to the manager position. Chairman Yu started off listening with a smile, but his face hardened when Hu Yian explained that she was bullied. He softened again when Jo-young-uk was demoted, and he became angry when the story circled back to the accident in the parking lot. Let's see, he said. The position for head of marketing division 1 has been empty for a while, right? Yeah, we've been asking HR, but they keep pushing it back. They said there's no one suitable. Chairman Yu looked towards the door with a meaningful look. Jiwan Kang and Joran Yang. They have been brave and smart enough to go out and solve the problem earlier that year. They'd remain that way even when a burly man had made a fuss in the lobby, even without the relationship with his grandchildren. They were talented employees. Are you outside, Mr. O? The chairman called. Yes, sir. A voice called from outside the door. Go to the office and bring me 2 employee files. Marketing Divisions 1's Jiwan Kang and Joran Yang. Mr. O answered. Understood. I'll be right back, sir. Ji-hyuk and Eun-ho were actually not close at all. It was no exaggeration to say that they had the most awkward relationship in the world. Walking out of the hospital quietly, the two only opened their mouths once they were outside, but their eyes remained fixed straight ahead. Mr. Baik? Ji-hyuk said, After a second of silence, the two spoke at the same time again. Go ahead. You first. Ji-hyuk decided to speak first. Do you still have feelings for Jiwan? Of course. Eun-ho answered without hesitation before adding, I've given up, but that's irrelevant. I can't help the way I feel, you know. Ji-hyuk didn't reply. I'm not going to make a move on her behind your back, so don't worry, Eun-ho said. Besides, she wouldn't fall for that anyway. I think you know that better than I do. I wasn't asking because of that. Then why did you ask? Eun-ho asked with an innocent-looking face. How do I explain this? Ji-hyuk decided to remain silent, lamenting on his ability to speak. Lamenting his ability to speak. Jeez. Instead of asking more questions, Eun-ho changed the subject. As I said before, I'll return the money you left me tomorrow when I see you. That was the real reason Eun-ho and Ji-hyuk had met today, the money. Ji-hyuk had left behind and asked It was the money that Ji-hyuk had left behind and asked Eun-ho to use in case Ji-won got into trouble. Ji-hyuk was silent for a while before he shook his head. I'm sorry, but could you keep it with you until I ask for it? Why all of a sudden? Is it an issue with taxes or something? No, nothing like that, just in case. Are you leaving again? That will never happen again. Eun-ho did not try to hide his disappointment. Ji-hyuk felt the urge to kick him and pretend it was an accident, but he decided to act like an adult. This was a tricky situation. He couldn't believe Hugh Yeon, of all people, was being shy over someone, and that the person she was shy over was a man smitten with the woman he couldn't get over. Okay, so he got it. He could pick up on that, though. Okay. See, he's perceptive. He's perceptive. Jiwon couldn't pick it up, but Ji-hyuk could. I'm going to need Jiwon to get it together. She noticed that she was shy around him, but she didn't put two and two together. Girl. Girl. Everyone. No sweets until dinner. Top 10 anime betrayals. Having a relationship with a chef cook would be both a dream and a nightmare. It would. It would. You would have to make sure you work out or just embrace that you're going to be fat. Hugh Yeon loves her food bad. Imagine getting a promotion 2 times in a week. That'd be crazy. Will Jiran be promoted to head of department and Jiwon to manager? That would be amazing. I don't think that will happen, but that would be dope as fuck. That would be dope as fuck. Maybe that guy. I totally get why Eun-ho can't just forget Jiwon. She is a sweet, kind, and caring person who found the strength to fight for a better life. She cares and worries for her friends and is humble and selfless. How could anyone just stop loving her? Ji-hyuk never could either, so he should understand Eun-ho's feelings very well. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why he can't be childish. That's why he wasn't childish about it and wanted to kick him like he did. And that's the end of chapter 123. Can't believe Hugh Yeon is being shy. And we're just going to go into the next chapter. Drives me wild when our eyes meet. Oh, shit. This sounds like it's going to be a spicy chapter. But okay, let's go. I'll try not to laugh too much. Or mess up. We'll see. I'll probably do both. The keypad beeped as Jiwon entered the code to unlock the door. Pang's cries could be heard from outside. Meow, meow. Mommy's home. Jiwon knelt down as she came inside without taking her shoes off. A spotted creature jumped into her wide open arms. Meow, meow. Aw, did you miss me? Who's the cutest, prettiest kitty in the world? You are. While Pang and Jiwon kissed each other, sharing the joy of reuniting after a half a day, Ji-hyuk stood behind them like a fish out of water. He would be lying if he said he wasn't jealous. If Jiwon embraced him using her entire body and attacked him with a barrage of kisses, he might die of happiness. I'm jealous, Pang. As if he read Ji-hyuk's mind, Pang looked at him over Jiwon's shoulder. Meow. It was somewhat annoying to see Pang crying triumphantly and then lick his front feet. Should I give him a smack? Ji-hyuk approached Jiwon, planning on giving Pang's forehead a gentle smack. Jiwon felt his presence, put Pang down, and jumped to her feet to turn around. Ji-hyuk, are you coming in? There was only a small amount of distance between them. Ji-hyuk and Jiwon. We almost bumped into each other. Are you all right? Jiwon asked awkwardly. Ji-hyuk's gaze locked on to the movement of her lips. He was amazed that a person could move their lips so beautifully. I'm not all right. Ji-hyuk bent down a little. The distance between them narrowed until they stood close together. I think bumping into each other would have been fine. Where did he learn to speak like this? Ji-won swallowed dryly. Truth be told, she felt her heart skip a beat, but she felt a strange desire not to be pushed back. Should we bump into each other? Ji-won raised her finger and tapped Ji-hyuk's forehead lightly. Here? Her finger traced along his handsome nose and traveled further down. Or here? Ji-hyuk swallowed, his Adam's apple bobbing in his throat, intoxicated with a strange sense of victory. Ji-won pressed her finger lightly on Ji-hyuk's upper lip. The tip of her finger touched his somewhat chapped lips. They seemed held together by tension, and when she touched them, it felt as if they were a prickle of static of electricity. Or how about here? Ji-hyuk's eyes looked dangerous as he looked down at Ji-won. He opened his lips to suck on the tip of Ji-won's finger, but soon he bit them with his white teeth. The static turned into an electric current that flowed through her veins. Ji-hyuk moved his lips upward little by little. The part of her finger between his teeth throbbed pleasantly. Before she knew it, his lips had tasted all of her fingers, and they came to the back of Ji-won's hand. He bit the little sliver of her wrist showing under her sleeve before coming to the nape of her neck. Following along her arm, still inside her coat, Ji-won shrank back as his hot breath touched her skin. Regardless of her slight recoil, Ji-hyuk took a big bite of her slender neck. Ji-won's arms struggled like a deer bitten by a lion. Ji-hyuk grabbed her arm and pushed it against the wall as he continued to taste his prey. He playfully nibbled on the part of her neck where her pulse beat, slipping his lips along the dip just below her chin. When he put her thick, soft earlobe in his mouth, her small earrings hit his teeth, and it felt strangely stimulating. It tickles. Ji-won twisted away, trying to escape, but Ji-hyuk held her down even tighter. A large pair of hands had slipped inside her skirt without her realizing. The hands moved slowly yet seductively around her thighs that were wrapped in thin stockings. Ji-won wrapped her arms around Ji-hyuk's neck, desperately hanging on to him. Good girl. Ji-hyuk sucked slightly on her sensitive earlobes. Hang on tighter, will you? Ji-won had no choice but to do as she was told. Her body lifted into the air as if by magic. Her shoes came off as she shook them in the air, and they fell one by one in the entryway. Wait, let's go inside, she murmured. The room's too far. Ji-hyuk didn't have the patience to go all the way to the room. He slipped his tongue between Ji-won's lips as he laid her on the couch in the living room. As he hastily undid Ji-won's blouse, a couple of buttons snapped off. You tore my clothes, Ji-won mumbled, while her lips were swallowed by his. Buy a new one. It was expensive. I'll buy you as many as you want. Ji-hyuk tore through the already ruined blouse. Then he unbuttoned her skirt. Right now, I need you to lift your hips. Taking off her stockings was a very difficult task for Ji-hyuk. Not that he was planning on struggling in an urgent situation like this. I'll get you new ones. Ji-hyuk tore the thin stockings from the inside of Ji-won's leg. Ji-won reflectively pressed her legs together. Wait! As you wish. With his remaining hand, Ji-hyuk unbuttoned his shirt. At once, Ji-won's eyes caught the tempting, thick, and smooth lines of his body. Even the clatter of his belt on the floor was sexy. Ji-won reached out to him with both hands. The alluring man before her opened his mouth as he leaned into her arms. He bit and touched every unbearably sensitive place on her skin. She felt something hot bubbling under her navel. The inside of her head melted like ice cream in the summer heat. Her instincts pushed back realistic thoughts like going to bed or closing the wide open curtain. No matter how much saliva she swallowed, her lips burned. No matter how much she embraced Ji-hyuk, she felt frustrated. In the end, Ji-won couldn't overcome her thirst. He let out a low moan, barely audible to her ears. Ji-won took the opportunity to put her hands even closer. Hurry. That was very effective. Ji-won didn't have to wait any longer. He tore her stockings and completely peeled them off her legs. The bubbling sensation from earlier caught fire. Ji-won looked up at Ji-hyuk with dreamy eyes as if she were drunk. The faint darkness of Ji-hyuk's sweaty, disheveled appearance blended together like a scene in a movie. Oh my gosh. Shit. Ji-hyuk's voice cracked as he spoke. You're so beautiful. The light from the apartment across the street shone on the two figures. Their sensual movements became so fast and deep that it was too hard to handle. Ji-won fumbled to grab the edge of the couch, trying to support her body that kept moving up. As if the couch had become an ocean, Ji-hyuk kept dragging Ji-won deeper into the sea, making her float without gravity. Ji-hyuk, Ji-won said, managing to call out his name. Her lips looked so beautiful to Ji-hyuk as they parted and said his name. Her hair was spread out on the couch, and her flushed face was ecstasy itself. Ji-hyuk would not hesitate to burn everything he had if he could stop time as he drew into Ji-won. Ji-hyuk slowed his movements and made a request. Say my name again. Ji-hyuk. His slow movements became slightly faster. Again. Ji-hyuk. One more time. Ji-hyuk. Ji-hyuk entered her so strongly it couldn't even compare to earlier. Surprised, Ji-won squirmed like a fish pierced by a harpoon. But he held down her movements and pursued her relentlessly. Ji-won forgot how to breathe and clung to Ji-hyuk desperately. The muscles in her body trembled. It was like after being in a dark place, her vision suddenly turned white from seeing a very bright light, and then it slowly returned to the dark again. Were they done now? Ji-won drooped down and opened her eyes when Ji-hyuk's hand touched her forehead. You scared me. I thought you had passed out. Ji-hyuk put his hand on Ji-won's cheek and kissed her lightly. Since you're awake, let's go inside and finish the rest. He's a beast. Ji-won's entire body ached, especially around her hips. The soft skin on the inside of her thighs was so chafed that it was red. Even after putting ointment here and there, Ji-won had to look for a long skirt that had a soft, smooth lining. Does it hurt? Ji-hyuk asked anxiously as Ji-won finished getting ready for work and came to the living room. He had been taking care of Ji-won since the morning, looking after her like a puppy who was in trouble. What do you think? She asked dryly. You should have told me. I didn't realize it was hurting at the time. Ji-won cooled her slightly red face with the juice Ji-hyuk handed her. Drive me to work, please, she said. My legs hurt too much, so I can't take the subway. I would never make you take the subway. Still, as amends for keeping Ji-won awake last night, Ji-hyuk looked for the car keys without any further complaints. Let's go. Unless something really important was going on, Ji-hyuk took Ji-won to work and then went to work himself. If he couldn't pick her up after work, he sent one of his employees to get her. Thanks to that routine, Jiwon was starting to forget what the subway even looked like. As the car approached the office, Ji-hyuk spoke as if he had just remembered something. I have to stay late tonight. I'll send Sinu over, so he'll drive you home. What about dinner? You'll have to eat by yourself. Sorry. Nothing to be sorry about. I'm just worried you won't have any dinner. Ji-hyuk frowned at Jiwon's words. You shouldn't say stuff like that. Why not? Jiwon asked, tilting her head in curiosity. Then she suddenly looked down under the steering wheel. Is he a beast or some kind of pervert? Or is he some hot-blooded teenager? You've never been with a woman, Ji-hyuk? She asked cautiously. No. Ever? Not even once. Ji-hyuk must have thought he needed to explain himself more because he added, I've never desired to do anything with a woman before. Ji-hyuk was an extremely untalented liar. Still, Jiwon searched the side of Ji-hyuk's face just in case, but there were no signs of him lying. But then, how are you? How am I? Ever since Jiwon had almost died because of Sumin, Ji-hyuk started parking right in front of the elevator on the third basement floor instead of the second. The area was mostly empty, with only 3 or 4 cars at most. The car drove slowly down the spiral path. Jiwon hesitated and said quietly, how are you, so good at that. Ji-hyuk drove into the parking lot on the third basement floor. However, he didn't park the car right next to the elevator. Rather, he parked in the farthest corner, which looked like it would be covered in spider webs. Why are you parking here? Jiwon asked naively, but she flinched after making eye contact with Ji-hyuk. Ji-hyuk. No way. Here? Her uneasy feeling proved to be true. Ji-hyuk unfastened his seatbelt. Just a little. Jiwon regretted saying unnecessary things on her way to work. But you have to be quick. She couldn't help but feel excited nonetheless. Not them doing a quickie after doing it all night. Go off, queen. Go off, king. They deserve it. Okay. So, comments. Ji-hyuk getting 2 lifetimes worth of sexual attention in a couple of months. Absolute mad lad. He really is. Webtoons would never allow this to be shown to this extent, and that's why I love reading novels more. Yes. Look at them going at it like bunnies in heat. Wow. In this episode, there is no shame in using a water-based lubricant, dude. If you're going to do it do it a few times in a night, protect your woman from hurting. Hey, he's a newbie. I mean, he deserves to relish in it. He's been waiting for so long. He's going to milk it for all it's worth. I don't blame him in the slightest. Both are so horny. He is a beast. I want someone like that. He is the embodiment of a gentleman in the streets and a freak in the sheets. The best part is that he is like this because of how much he loves her. True. He is a total horn dog. Somebody was like, is Peng still? Yeah, Peng still there. He probably just went to go mind his business. Okay. And then the last chapter is Because You're My Woman. 5 more minutes and I would have been late. Hurriedly, Jiwon looked in the elevator mirror. Cleaning up her smudged lipstick and messy hair, she discovered one of the buttons on her blouse was undone and buttoned it back up. It must not have been enough. Good morning. Morning, Miss Kang. Cutting it close, aren't we? How unlike you. When someone called her out among the greetings that morning, Jiwon felt guilty, like she'd committed a crime. Well, actually, she had committed a crime. How could she do such a thing in the Sacred Company parking lot? The car was... Yeah, there was a lot of cars on the road today as usual. No, the car was shaking today. Jiwon sat down with a red face and fanned herself with her hand. If Hugh Yeon was here, she would have found an empty file folder and shaken it fiercely. My lifesaver is hot. Hugh Yeon, the fan, activate. Jiwon especially missed Hugh Yeon today, who would have even made a wind sound with her mouth as she fanned her. Jiwon stretched her head out towards Joran, who had moved far away to the manager's seat. Joran saw Jiwon over the partition and sent a message to her. Joran, are you a meerkat? Jiwon smiled slightly and sent a reply. You're too far away now. It's so hard to see you. Joran, that's the distance between assistant manager and manager. Jiwon couldn't refute that. She knew how hard Joran had worked to get that position. My faraway manager, do you want to visit Hugh Yeon the day after work? I can't today. How's next week? Sounds good. Next week? Jiwon finished their conversation and was about to start working when she looked towards where Junsuk sat. As the rising star in Department Division 1, Junsuk had been working hard since the early morning. However, the seat next to Junsuk, where there should have been a shiny head, was still empty. He'll be late even if he comes in now. Of course, people didn't change. Since Jong-uk had been demoted from manager to assistant manager, he had been coming in early, but now it looked like he was starting to feel less tense. After Jiwon checked today's schedule, she went through her work email and filled her water bottle. It was already 20 minutes past the scheduled part of the office hours. Of course, there were only 2 people missing. One was Hugh Yeon, who was bored at the hospital, and the other was assistant manager Kim, who showed up making a big fuss. Oh, geez, do you all know the traffic was hell today? The roads were jam-packed. I had to get off the highway halfway here and transfer to the subway. As soon as Jong-uk finished his excuse, no one listened to. A cold voice came from Joran's desk. Ooh. Mr. Kim, please come to my desk. Ooh. 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 The office went silent as a grave. Even the clicking sound of computer mice stopped for a moment. It meant everyone was listening in on the conversation. Damn it! Ooh! Jung-uk proudly stuck out his neck so as not to show his nervousness. He went where he used to sit, which was occupied by Joran. You called? His voice was smaller than a mosquito's. Of course it was. Jiwon and the other employees held their breaths and focused their ears to hear everything better. What time is it right now, Mr. Kim? Joran asked. There was no immediate reply. The other employees got here 10 minutes before our office. Oh my gosh. The other employees got here 10 minutes before our office hours to get ready for work. Jung-uk cleared his throat. There was too much traffic, so... Did everyone else walk here, Miss Kang said she was late because of traffic, but she still got here 5 minutes early. Jung-uk didn't answer. Ooh. Why aren't you saying anything? Is it because you have nothing to say? Silence. Mr. Kim, Joran raised her voice, exasperated. When Jung-uk closed his plum-colored lips, clearly refusing to speak. Jung-uk became even angrier. He was so frustrated he couldn't even wipe his sweaty face. Fucking hell, she only became a manager by sucking up to the right people. How dare she humiliate me like this? It's not like I was an hour late. I didn't skip out on work or anything. Would skip out she would skip all our company dinners because she said she had to take care of her kid. Who is she to call me out like this? Really? Because that's totally the same thing. Despite his anger, the voice that crawled out of his mouth was even smaller than a mosquito. I'll be careful from now on. Joran sighed and gestured to Jung-uk's seat with her chin. From now on, your tardiness will be reflected in your performance report. You can go now. Okay. As soon as Jung-uk, who had already been chewed out once, returned to his seat, Jun-suk approached him. Mr. Kim, you finished organizing the overall performance of the department this year, right? Jung-uk blinked. How could I finish this in one day? If it's that urgent, why don't you do it? Hurry up and send it to me. You were supposed to organize it, and I was assigned to analyze it afterward. You can't take this long to do it, so hurry up already. Come on, the HR team is on our asses. Damn. Joran, it's Jiwon. Jiwon was deeply impressed by Joran's outstanding assignments to everyone's work. To think she'd left the task of organizing the department's performance analysis to Jung-uk. She was curious if Jung-uk would realize he had achieved no results as he went through the records. Not no results, and he was the manager at the time. Joran had no time to eat as she took care of the work that had slowly piled up while Ji-hyuk had been away. Still, since she had finished her work for today, Joran turned off her computer just in time. Let's head out. I'm going home first, so don't stay behind in secret. Me too. I'm going to stay late tonight for sure. I was going to stay late tonight for sure. What a shame. You two are such jokers. Joran left the office first with a laugh of thanks. Her employees had responded so generously to her. Suddenly, Jun-suk came out quickly and stood next to her in front of the elevator doors. Are you going straight home, Miss Yang? He asked. Yeah, my dad's looking after Yeonji, so I have to hurry back and get dinner ready. Do you want a ride? She had already refused Jun-suk's offer to take her home 20 times. This would be the 21st. Thanks, but I like to take the subway. I knew you'd say that, Jun-suk said, grinning. Thanks to his nonchalant reply, Joran really didn't feel too uncomfortable, but about refusing his offer. Usually, Jun-suk didn't ask her anymore after this, but today there was something else he had on his mind. Here, this is for you. Jun-suk rummaged through his messenger bag and took out a black plastic bag. It looked like it would contain carrots from the supermarket. What's this? Joran wondered if there really was a carrot inside as she took the bag and opened it. Inside was a black, flat object. It was also accompanied by long earphones and a fish-shaped cord organizer that could be wrapped around. She stared at it, taken aback. A Me-Pod? I didn't buy it. It's just the one I used before. Jung-suk desperately emphasized that the Me-Pod, which was clean without any scratches and had a film attached to the screen, was something that he had used before. I got a new one recently, so I wanted to give this one to you. Isn't it boring when you have to do when you don't have anything to do on the subway? You can put 8 gigabits worth of songs on it, so you should fill it up, he said. Oh, and I'm only giving you this because I got a new one. I don't have any ulterior motives. Don't misunderstand. Look at him. Joran was about to point out the protective film on the screen when the other staff members rushed out of the office. Instead, she ended up putting the Me-Pad in her pocket. Jung-suk quickly got onto the elevator. He was cool as a cucumber, but there was a slight smile on his face. As usual, the subway on the way home from work was crowded. Joran always felt stuffy and breathless when she was squeezed in there on her way home. It always felt like she was going to another workplace instead of home, where she could rest with her family. But now it felt like her workday was over. Joran smiled as she thought of Yeonji waiting at home. Then she plugged in the earphones that Jungsuk had given her and turned on the Mi Pod. One of her favorite ballads began to play in her ears. I love this song. How did he know? The rattling of the subway cars and the passenger conversations were covered up by the sweet melody. The subway's rattling vibrations made it seem like it was dancing along to the song. A door opened and you came inside. I knew at first glance that you were mine. The train stopped at the station. People rushed out like the low tide, and then more rushed in like the high tide. Joran held the subway car's handle tightly to prevent being swept away. But oddly enough, it felt comfortable. There was no backpacks hitting her from the side, no people stepping on her feet, and no man pushing her from behind. Joran raised her head and looked at the subway window. A tall man held the handle behind her and made space so that he would not touch her. Surprised, Joran took out one of her earphones and turned around. Mr. Lee? Jungsuk seemed unconcerned that she'd seen him. I'm taking the subway from now on. This is much more comfortable. The song coming out from the earphones changed. You see me only as a little brother. You think I'm adorable, but you are a woman to me. The earphone that Joran had taken out quickly slipped out of her hand. I forgot to bring my Mi Pod. Can I listen with you? Without waiting for an answer, Jungsuk put the earphone in his ear and began to hum along. Joran heard his faint humming more clearly than the music from the earphones. I'm doing this because I like you. I know I shouldn't, but I like you. The subway stopped suddenly. Ugh! Joran cried, her body surging forward. Immediately, Jungsuk supported Joran, who was staggering from the sudden stop. He was still humming the song in a low, barely audible tone. Because you're my woman, my woman. Joran removed the earphone from her ear and turned the Mi Pod off. She coldly took out the side that was in Jungsuk's ear. Hey, I was listening to that, he protested. Take it and listen by yourself, she said flatly. I told you I got a new one. Then sell it online. I don't need it. I don't need it either. Throw it away if you really don't want it. Jungsuk raised both hands, trying to express how he would not take it back. Don't you dare force it inside my pocket. I'll tell HR that a superior touched me. Where did you learn to threaten someone like that, you little... I'm way taller than you, no matter how you look at it, he said. You're not that much taller. Shouldn't you transfer here, Manager Yang? Jungsuk was right. It was the station she had to transfer at. Ultimately, Joran failed to return the Mi Pod and was swept away by passengers as she left the subway car. See you tomorrow, Manager Yang, Jungsuk shouted as he waved. Joran's face turned red from the looks she was getting from passengers and quickly walked away. The sun was setting faster when she came out of the station near her home. It was already dark. Joran hurried through the alley into her apartment complex. There was someone completely unwelcomed in front of her home. You home? Honey, you must be tired. He greeted Joran casually and in the loving manner she had always hoped he would use throughout her marriage. This piece of trash, where the fuck did he come from? Where the fuck did he come from? I thought his ass was in jail. God. I'm so mad. Where's Mr. Lee? It would be creepy for him to follow her, But I want him to be there. Beat his ass. Let's see some of the comments. Sir, why are you not in prison where you belong? Stay the hell away from her and stop trespassing, right? I have wished Junsuk followed her too, but also that's a little creepy. Yeah, that's creepy. Sir, you are not welcome around Joran and Yongji. Oh God, it's her ex, isn't it? Maybe she'll use Junsuk as a fake boyfriend, though. I didn't even think about that. Hit the road, Jack. Oh. How is he allowed back into her home? Right? I don't think he's at her home. I think he's on the porch. But still. Oh, hell no. She better shut that shit down quick. Right? Everybody's like, I thought he was in prison. Right? I thought his ass was in prison. Maybe he doesn't stay in prison that long. Shit. Mr. Kim? Ew, gross. Did I say Mr. Kim? It might not have been edited. Or it might have been edited. I hope Mr. Kim was following to make... I think they meant Mr. Lee. These chapters are too short. Nah, I think it's good. That was the end of that chapter. But these chapters have been very good. So we're done already with these 5 chapters. It seems like it's wrapping up, but not kind of wrapping up. Because the stuff with Suman wrapped up for the most part. She went to jail. I don't know if we'll hear from her again. But we didn't get a conclusion for Joran. Yeah, she got the manager position. Obviously, her ex is not in jail since he showed up on her porch. Hyo-yeon and Eunho, I'm gonna need for them to get together. And Jiwon and Jihyuk are together, so I don't know what else there is. There's a lot more chapters to go. A lot more chapters. Let's see. The next chapter is 126, Joran's decision. But there's like how many chapters? 179 chapters. But there's like several bonus chapters. There's like 7 bonus chapters. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back with the next set of episodes, or the next set of chapters. And I hope you have a great evening, afternoon, or morning, whatever time it is you're listening. And I will talk to you later. Bye.